Finally get paid for the get down. You can't tell me shit now about time. Do you know how many lines I done put down? Vibes I done sent out. But we in here, you dig. I'll up the market till they come red carpet the kids. Success still the target. Soon I'll be crossing that bridge. But can't bring everybody with me, family only. I got some people think I owe a favor, barely know me. That's why my focus on the road, it's all I know. I see them sticking close to play the wall and watch my growth. Cause I got something they never had. So get on the beat and I need a helipad. I float on fly, you know where I'm from, so it comes as no surprise. I just out with a mean vernacular, dream spectacular. I keep a queen and passenger, FL capital Y. Anywhere I am, jam, that's for sure. Turn me on, better set the mood from the door. That's just how it go. Glad I've been keeping it playing so long. I in this world, I feel it in a place that I couldn't roam. But ain't nothing like you when I'm at home. It ain't nothing like you. That's why I came out stepping. I can't be doing things regular for you. I want the magic to last. I know how time try and ruin things. It get repetitive, got you tempted to doing things. I can't get reckless without you, wouldn't be no music thing. Plus, remember, we made promises way back then. And I still owe that 5-bed house with 2-3 kids. We got a fairy tale plan that's gonna change up the order they sort the mail in. Plus, I know loyalty not as valued as what it was. We not influenced by what they do, cause it's only us. I still hear poetry when I'm looking into the eyes. I still get lost in the thought of you. So much to find, and yeah, you know you fine, but still I must remind that we can live this forever and feel this forever and ever, and still that won't leave me enough for time to tell you all the ways I feel. Why would I throw that away for thrills, trying to play the field? Glad I've been keeping it playing so long. Out here in this world, I feel it in a place that I couldn't roam, but ain't nothing like you when I'm at home. It ain't nothing like you.
All right, y'all. Welcome to Croco's Corner. We are going to be doing a brand new segment called Croco Cares Radio Segment. I think I said that right. Yeah. Croco Cares Radio Segment. There we go. All right. Croco Cares Radio Segment. It's going to take me a little bit of time just to get used to actually saying that. It is going to be the newest show that I do on here. For a lot of people who are familiar with the show, who follow me, follow my channels, follow the different things that I have done throughout the years, most of the stuff that I've done has been around comic books and pop culture and things of the sort. We moved a lot of that content over to Squad Nero Podcast. So if you are still interested in that and have not locked in with us on Squad Nero Podcast, please go check us out on YouTube. And we are also on Croco's Corner. So there will be shows for that. But in the past, anybody who's really been with me since the beginning probably will remember that we also used to do like history and mental health, and I haven't done videos for that in a very long time. I wanted to do something where I could kind of streamline a lot of these ideas and a lot of the knowledge that I was trying to convey to people through those segments into just one segment. So that pushed me to create what is referred to as Croco Cares Radio Segment. This is something where it's going to make it easier for me to just have conversations with you guys, and as well to be able to inform you, educate you in the ways that we were doing this in the past before. These are things where it's not just going to be my knowledge, but it'll also be knowledge from various people, and you'll be able to hear my opinion on it and be able to formulate your own opinion on it. So the way that Croco Cares Radio Segment will work is we're going to play some music from some artists. These are not necessarily the artists who you are typically familiar with, but these are up and coming artists who kind of put their music out there in different ways that makes it accessible for me to be able to share it with you in this style. But I wanted to kind of make it into a radio station, a radio show, because we don't really get that anymore. So being able to create something where we can actually you could listen to it in the car and just kind of let it play, kind of let it be ambient at times, but also let it be something where you can kind of get engaged in it as well. I just thought that would be really important. I really love doing this stuff, despite success or lack of success or whatever the case may be. I just love being able to talk in this capacity, to share this to anyone, to anyone in the country, anyone in the world. These are all things that's really just important to me. That's why I keep doing it. I continue to have my energy towards it. So I didn't want to just have the comic book stuff going. I wanted to commit to the mission that I had when I started Croco's Corner in the first place, and that was to create something that everyone can find joy from. So with that said, I do want to kind of break down how Croco Cares radio segment will work. Again, as mentioned before, we will play some music from artists who make their music more accessible. Some really fun stuff that I was able to find. And as well as that, we're going to have what I will be referring to as Croco Calls. Now, I do need to say this. I'm only going to say this for the very first show. Maybe it'll come back up as these shows progress. But Croco Calls are not real phone calls. I really want to make that clear now. I don't want to create any confusion, but I am going to treat them in a way that is similar to them being a phone call, for the simple fact that I am going for a feel where it is more like a radio station. So I want you to be able to just be able to like kick back, throw this on in the car, and everything kind of plays out more so like a radio station. So we will have, again, in quotations, Croco Calls. These will be things, different discussion points and different things that people have discussed throughout the internet. I will introduce them in a radio station format. Doesn't have to mean that this is necessarily the best way to describe them, where they're from or anything of that nature. But it will be something where again, I can format it properly for this show. In regards to where these audios come from, I will make sure to include in the description links to all of this content. Please make sure you go and follow, subscribe, and get more information from them. If everything that you hear in this segment is something that you feel, interested in, something that you just want to learn more about. So with all of that being said and out of the way, I'm going to move forward and we're going to go into our first Croco caller, which is going to be from Jackie Ann Dunlap from Tennessee.
They want to do something to hurt black people. The wheels of government turn fucking fast, son.
Oh, yeah.
This just happened. And they're like, oh, I can fit this in. Let's go.
Let's do it right now.
I'll move some things around.
Yeah. Rural hospital closures, Ohio State, Tennessee. We got every other state beat. We'll deal with that later. But right now, we got to make sure black people can't vote.
Progress takes time.
Oh, yeah.
Justice.
Sure.
It takes decades.
You know how hard it is to get anything done through Congress? It takes years and years for a bill to go from here to there. I mean, I've watched all the cartoons. I know how hard it is. Yeah.
Small steps forward. But, man, when they want to roll stuff back, they're taking, like, just jumping frog leaps.
Yep.
Frog leaps.
All right. Thank you, Jackie Ann Dunlap. Yeah, that is probably a topic. Hold on, I gotta adjust this a little bit. Sorry if it gets a little staticky, but that is probably a topic that a lot of people really, makes people uncomfortable. Something else that we'll be talking about is uncomfortability a little bit more. But yeah, I don't necessarily disagree. We see this happening right now with some of the voting rights in some of our southern states in America, in the U.S., I should say. And, it doesn't just stop there. I mean, we see this for other groups as well. Other groups that typically could be looked at or have been looked at as being minority groups. When it comes towards things of trying to pass things that are beneficial to helping them and ultimately helping their communities, their cities, their states, our legislators and such, they could be very slow on the uptick of this. But when it comes to something that hurts somebody, or makes a person that is more wealthy in this world in a better or more successful position, we see those things kind of get approved or whatever the proper process is as soon as possible. A big one that came up as a complaint in the past was, the PPP loans during COVID. That was something where it was like, whoa, when we got hit with that news, we were like, what? This is something that is, from all intents and purposes, coming from taxpayer money, and we're just bailing people out. We're bailing business out. Now, a little bit more nuance as to why the reason would be for that. We were in a time where, our economy is built up on business, small business, big business, but these businesses were all kind of looked at in this way. Not all, but a lot, for the most part, it was larger wealth that was able to do this. And it wasn't just businesses. It was also senators and different, just a whole bunch of different folk. But again, the reason why I bring that up is because it kind of does point back into this, when it comes to some idea of us being able to put money back into someone who is typically looked at as being more successful in this country. It's something where that process goes through really fast. But if it's something that's around healthcare, or if it's something that's around taxes for lower income individuals, or benefits for lower income individuals, you look at the back and forth, that we just get in situations like that. So, yeah, it is what it is. Also, before I move on to the next song here, because I am going to go into the song, I do want to keep these things kind of short for you guys. Not trying to really necessarily drag this out, because, again, you are supposed to just be able to vibe to this in the car and such as well. But before we do go on to this next part, I made a mistake in my very first Croco Cares radio segment. Give me 1 second, because I'm trying to correct that wrong now. Sorry, it's actually taking me way longer than I thought it would to find this. Let me see. Sorry, my eyes just might be playing tricks on me. Here we go. The very first song that played, the one that you heard before I introduced all of this, was a song called Keep It Playa by Wichita Slim. So if anybody who liked that song out there that played at the very top of this, please go and follow and support Wichita Slim. I really like that song. And again, because of the networks that Wichita Slim used to allow us to be able to play that song, I really do want to just kind of send out as much support as we possibly can, because it makes things easier for me to be able to create this process with all of the musicians involved who have taken this course and making these songs easier to play in a format that not only protects them, but protects me. So Keep It Playa by Wichita Slim, that was that first song. We're going to dive right into it with the next song now. I hope that you guys like these songs. They are new songs for me too. So a lot of these artists are artists that I have not heard from at all. I'm just kind of experimenting and seeing if we get anything good from that. So this next song that we have coming up for you guys here on Croco Cares radio segment is going to be called Socialite by Jontha Lynx.
Just another sunny day in Southern California. It's where the people came to play. Don't let them transform you. Oh, come and see what you've been missing on a little slice
All right. That was, again, Socialite by Jontha Links. I will also just make sure to include the songs that I play as well in the description. In advance, the description may be pretty lengthy. So, yeah, I'm sorry about that, but just kind of is what it is. Let me see here. So now we will go on. I like that song, too. That was a good song. You know, again, this is an experience for me as well, where I'm kind of learning about these artists. This is a completely unique platform that I'm having to use. But I'm happy, you know, because it gives an opportunity for people who are able to help me with the content that I create. I'm able to help them with the content that they create. So I'm really kind of excited to see how this all plays out. And, you know, this very first show, I am curious. I could end up getting banned. I could end up getting in trouble. I don't think that I will, because I did follow to my ability and knowledge every course that I was supposed to take. So, but this is going to be a learning experience for me as well. And I'm very excited to just kind of find out who the rest of these artists are. Yeah, I'm just really kind of excited about that. Just kind of excited to learn this. So the next person that we have here for our Croco Callers is going to be Josiah from Louisiana.
My name is Josiah Hardy. I'm a sophomore at LSU Laboratory School. I'm the founder and director of an initiative I created, Project 2028, that promotes civic edu-action and voting literacy among teens. And I also come to you today as a 16-year-old in Louisiana. I come to you as a 16-year-old who does not want to stay in Louisiana because of bills like 116, 121, and 130. These have diluted the voice of African Americans and doesn't allow us to see us in Congress. As an African American myself, I want to hold political offices in the future, but I cannot do so if my voice is diluted in a community that does not like me. I cannot do so in a community that does not want to see me thrive or see my people thrive. So I move away in hopes to have my voice heard and have my voice communicated and effectively enough so I can become the young black man that I need to be in the competitive society that it is. I am in favor of Senate Bill 407 because it allows my people to have the voice that we haven't had in many years. The fact that we are still having to sit here in 2026 and fight for our right to vote and our right to have voices in Congress is a problem. It's a problem that we all face and we all need to wake up to in Louisiana. And if you want to plan for the future, then you need to allow the future to be a part of your planning. Thank you.
Very powerful. Very, very powerful. Yeah, thank you, Josiah, for saying that. You know, our youth is waking up to this idea of these repeating cycles that we see, right? Like my entire life. And I'll share my age to you guys. I am 30 years old. I turned 30 earlier this year. And, you know, it's one of those things where as I age, I'm just kind of like, man, so much stuff just seems to come in like, well, either it never disappears or the other part of things that exist, they just seem to be in cycles. So it sometimes can be a really depressing thought for me. Anybody out there that's listened to this and has felt the same way, then you know what I mean by, you know, it can be really depressing to think about. But I do feel like, you know, when we have young adults like Josiah, I think he said it was 16 years old. When we have young adults like Josiah who are just willing to go up and talk in front of our elected officials about these things and what they impact, and a lot of truth behind what he said as well. Like that, the very last part of that was very, very powerful. You know, if you want to have any form of support for the future, you have to at least consider the future. You have to start doing things that benefit the future. We look at things like oil. We look at things like, let's just put it like this: oil versus climate effects. We look at the expediency that we have in regards to technology, and we look at the entertainment even that we put out there for our youth and our children. And it's like these things that we've become way too greedy in the idea of the money behind it, and we're not actually thinking about what type of people we are making. You know, the people who will be our future, but not only just be our future, they will be the advancement for humankind. You know, these things that we allow to control the narrative and these things that we allow to kind of put us in one space, the very few who are putting us into these positions, what are we doing? Because you're soiling the literal future of mankind. Some people may hear me say that and they may sigh and say, you're exaggerating or you're being too paranoid. But again, I've been around for 30 years now, and I look at all of the people that are in my age group. I look at all of the people that are in the age group ahead of me. And yes, we do all have a lot of success. But there's also been so much trauma that's been accumulated over the years, societal trauma, let alone personal traumas. We don't need to put people in positions like that. We need to figure out how to get more people out of positions like that. And the idea of getting people out of positions like that is going to involve things like healthcare initiatives. They're going to involve things like environmental initiatives. They're going to involve things like technological initiatives, educational initiatives. These various things, we can't just excuse them. We can't allow for our elites to just excuse them for the sake of earning extra cash. What exactly our role is going to be in terms of us transforming the current narrative that we've been living. And again, like when I say cycles, this is a great example of what I mean by cycles, because when I talk to, people my grandmother's age, and my grandmother is into her 90s now, you go back to times like that. It's like the moment that we kind of hit into an industrial era of mankind, it was very exploitative even back then. I mean, you think about the kids in the mines, right? Like a classic example. I'm pretty sure a lot of us learn about these things in school, but there was an exploitation towards child labor, and that was something where the betterment of humanity and the betterment of American society, at the very least, even though it extends beyond American society, had to say, we have to move away from this. This is morally, ethically not right. And there's way better ways for us to effectively do business than to consider and exploit child labor. Still instances of that, of course, that's happening throughout the world today. But again, it was something where we had a moment where we realized this isn't right, and we want to at least make it somewhat better. We need to kind of get back into the energy of that and the space around that. We can't be complicit. We can't keep being complicit, and our youth is asking us to not be complicit. So hopefully, messages like those from Josiah can actually leave some level of just impression on all of us, And again, it's a very, very powerful message. Thank you again, Josiah. We're gonna get into the next song here. Give me 1 second, because I should have ordered these songs. Here we go. I should have ordered these songs for this show, but I just kind of, again, this platform, and for anybody out there that's interested in it, any creators at all, anybody who has an interest in creating, I don't want to just hoard this information and knowledge for myself, but the platform that I'm actually getting not only these artists from, but these sounds from, is a platform referred to as Epidemic Sound. What it does is it allows for content creators. You can even plug like your own channels and everything in there, and it allows for content creators to use this music in a copyright free space, so that way they don't have to worry about getting into trouble with YouTube, Spotify, SoundCloud, or Apple Podcasts, Amazon as well. You don't have to worry about necessarily getting in trouble with them, because the company is allowing for you to utilize this music. And again, it's a great exchange, because it allows for me to add a level of creativity to my content, but it also allows for me to champion some of the content of people who we may not have even heard of, as in the example of myself. So if you are a content creator, I really do highly encourage you. It costs a little bit of money a month, but it definitely seems like it's worth it, especially when you get motivated by the amount of good that it can pose for these artists who are, as you can see, really trying hard to make really good music that everyone can enjoy and feel some solid emotions toward. So I just wanted to give you guys that as well, because I don't really like the idea of hoarding information. Next up, though, is going to be Roulette by an artist called El Jiggy. So I hope that you guys enjoy, but we have Roulette by El Jiggy.
Dime mamacita, que lo que tú dices no importa. Dime te lo cumplo mamazota. Bálame suave, ponte a rular. Dime mami, oh. Dame cintura, cintureo. Te lo digo, no me voy a quejar. Que no te voy a soltar jamás, jamás, jamás. Tranquila más, déjate llevar. Yo también doy cintureo, mami, ven acá. Yo te doy lo que tú quieres y te mereces más. Girl, let me switch it up, I want you, you're the only one. I got your mind, I got your heart, it's like I stole some. That I'ma really spin about you, I'll give you my last. Been too much about you, you'd assume I dime mamacita, que lo que tú dices no importa. Dime te lo cumplo mamazota. Bálame suave, ponte a rular. Dime mami, oh. Dame cintura, cintureo. Te lo digo, no me voy a quejar. Que no te voy a soltar jamás, jamás, jamás. Mami, yo te como frente al mar. Te lo juro que me gusta tu acento, Y ese burrito yo fenómeno. Vive pa' acá, toda la gente te van a mirar, Yeah, we on an island, yeah, we on an island. I know we could make some noise, but it's not a little silent, que lo que tú dices no importa. Dime te lo cumplo mamazota. Bálame suave, ponte a rular. Dime mami, oh. Dame cintura, cintureo. Te lo digo, no me voy a quejar. Que no te voy a soltar jamás, jamás, jamás.
Nice little jam there by El Jiggy. Again, Roulette by El Jiggy, guys. I hope that you guys enjoyed that. It was a really nice little bop. I like that. That was cool, you know. Of course, since Bad Bunny just had performed at the halftime show, I think all of America, is safe to say, has looked a little bit further, and the proof is in the numbers and everything out there. But we have started to look at some of our more cultural music and global music in a better light. So, you know, I love being able to get more exposure to that. So, yeah, thank you, El Jiggy, for that. Oh, next up here, we have a Croco call from Cosmo from outer space. Yes, we are going to get just a little bit of insight from our friend here. Cosmo, you take it away.
I'm not making this video to start a race war. I'm making this video because I think one of the biggest reasons this country keeps ripping itself apart is because people have forgotten how to listen to pain without making it about themselves. And from the outside looking in, something I've noticed over and over again is that a lot of black people are not asking to be worshipped. They're not asking for pity. They're not asking for special treatment. A lot of the time, most of the time, they're just trying to explain what life has felt like for them and their families. And somehow, the second those conversations start, everything turns into a debate. No listening, no understanding, no curiosity, a debate. Are you sure it was racism? Well, that happens to everybody. Just get over it. My family struggled too. You're playing victim. You're dividing people. That was a long time ago. Just work harder. And it's like, damn, can somebody speak about pain without immediately being cross-examined like they're in court? Because what I think a lot of people don't understand is that when somebody talks about racial trauma, discrimination, oppression, or generational and ancestral pain, they're usually not saying every white person is evil. They're talking about patterns, systems, history, environment, institutions, treatment, oppression, the psychological weight of constantly feeling misunderstood, stereotyped, over-policed, unheard, or emotionally dismissed. And I feel like some people instantly get defensive because acknowledging somebody else's reality forces them to question the version of reality they were raised to believe. That discomfort is very real because if you grew up never experiencing certain things, it's easy to assume they barely exist. If you've never been followed around stores, never had teachers assume less of you before you even spoke, never felt pressure to code switch just to seem safe, never had your natural features mocked, never had people fear you before knowing you, never had generations of trauma sitting underneath your family structure, then of course certain conversations are going to sound exaggerated to you. And it's not because you're automatically a bad person. It's because human beings struggle to fully understand pain they've never personally had to carry. And honestly, the more I observe, the more I realize that's where I think a lot of the division comes from. People hear pain as accusation instead of communication. So instead of listening, they defend themselves. Instead of asking questions, they shut down. Instead of empathy, it becomes ego protection. It turns into just this debate. deflection, dismissiveness, rejection. And that's exhausting for people who already feel unheard. Imagine opening up about something painful and constantly being told, that didn't happen, it's not that bad, you're overreacting, you're too sensitive, you're the real racist for bringing it up. Do people realize how psychologically draining that is? To feel like you have to provide a PowerPoint presentation every time you talk about your own lived experience just to earn basic human understanding? And again, this is not about blaming all white people. There are plenty of white people who listen, care, empathize, educate themselves, and genuinely try to understand perspectives outside their own. But there's also a real consistent cultural issue where conversations about race immediately become centered around white discomfort instead of black pain. And that's the problem, because healing cannot happen if the people speaking about wounds are instantly forced to emotionally babysit the people listening. Sometimes people don't need a debate. They need humanity. They just need you to shut the fuck up and listen. And I think another uncomfortable truth people avoid talking about is how segregated a lot of society still is, even now. Not always legally, but socially, economically, culturally, systemically, educationally. A lot of people grow up in environments where they barely have meaningful relationships with people outside their race, outside their neighborhood, outside their worldview, outside their environment, outside their culture. So they end up learning about black people through stereotypes, headlines, social media clips, political propaganda, music caricatures, agendas, false, racist, outdated narratives, crime statistics stripped of context, or internet outrage instead of actual human connection. And then people wonder why empathy is broken, why we're still divided, why there's so many racial issues in this country. You cannot fully understand somebody's humanity if your only exposure to them is through fear, stereotypes, or surface level interactions. That is conditioning. And I think what a lot of black people are truly asking for is not guilt, it's acknowledgement. That's it. Acknowledgement that history leaves scars, acknowledgement that systems can affect people differently, acknowledgement that generational trauma is 110% real, acknowledgement that discrimination did not magically disappear just because laws changed, acknowledgement that being constantly invalidated hurts. That's it. That's fucking it. You don't have to hate yourself to acknowledge somebody else's suffering. You don't have to personally experience an injury to believe somebody when they say they're bleeding. And honestly, I think this country would heal a lot faster if people stopped treating empathy like surrender. Listening does not erase you. Understanding somebody else's pain does not attack your identity. Acknowledging racism exists does not mean every white person is evil. And speaking about racial pain does not automatically mean somebody is spreading division. Sometimes people are just fucking tired, man. Tired of feeling unseen, dismissed, tired of explaining themselves, tired of carrying generations of pain while also being told that pain doesn't exist. And I think if more people had the emotional maturity to sit with uncomfortable truths without instantly becoming defensive, we would finally start having real conversations instead of rehearsed arguments. Because at the end of the day, this isn't even about politics. This is just about humanity. And humanity starts dying the second people care more about protecting their comfort than understanding somebody else's pain.
Cosmo, thank you, man. You smoked that. Yeah, no, Cosmo smoked that. I can't disagree with any portion of that. This is it. You know, when I started this podcast and we started doing mental maintenance, one of the topics that I covered was empathy. And, you know, the idea that he stated right there, not looking at empathy as something that you are surrendering to. It is not that. It is just the idea of having compassion for your fellow human being. We really need to try to embrace that and think about that more. Some of the most effective change that I've personally had in my life, and I'm led to believe has had for the opposite person who I have engaged with, is just simply in having conversations. Hey, man, where are you from? What has life been like for you? What have things been like for you? What is your experience? Not listening to have my own judgment, them listening to me without their own judgment, but just kind of listening, you know, just what is this person saying to me? What has their experience been? Let the pictures get painted in my head as I just listen. That has led to some of the most concrete changes for me as a human being. It's made me a better human being and strengthened my faith. You know, I'm a Christian individual. And just, I've talked to several people about this before. My Christianity, my idea, my faith in Christianity has been strengthened even in conversations that I have had with non-Christians. Being able to understand their experience and understanding where I can be better in those things. I am a straight male. Being able to have conversations with people who don't identify as a straight male has opened my eyes and allowed for me to become a better human being. And so, you know, this is a conversation that can be applied to more than just being black. I'm a black individual, and that's something that I do appreciate, is when people like Cosmo can speak up in these regards, or people can actually do the actions that Cosmo spoke on as a black male, 30-year-old black male. But again, it does extend beyond just race. It really does. We need to just have more conversations with each other, have a better understanding, the perspective, the guidance that comes from those conversations as well. And then on top of that, it really does seem like we are in a space where we need to try to prioritize community building more. Who's going to help us? Who's there to help us? The people and the entities with the power and the money and the resources to help us have told us time and time again that the help that we are going to be is going to be constrained and limited. So in order for us to look for better opportunities, we're going to need to help each other. It is something that I cannot escape as finding as a reality. We have to be able to make what we want to see. I think the idea of America, U.S. more so, but I think the idea of the U.S., which has for years been something that had been touted as a superpower, it was something where I think the idea of us being a superpower was never actually fully realized. And now we're starting to see where we're losing that title because we have not fully given ourselves to this idea of empathy and understanding and accountability. We have just caused separation and division and hatred. And these are past tribal kind of mentalities that have existed and that we've admitted through civility aren't things that we necessarily need to or want to champion, but we still are acting in it. Other nations around the world are starting to look at that, and they're starting to see exactly how massive the virus of our instability actually is, and exactly what it exists to be. So that message that Cosmo gave us right there is the one that I think we need to just fully embrace and latch on to, whatever we need to do to get there. If you're listening with this and you've struggled with just kind of hearing things or understanding things from somebody else's perspective, taking a deep breath and just actually listening and not having your own judgment and place in your mind. If that's something that you struggle with, I'm here to tell you, look, you're not the only one who struggled with that. Many of us have struggled with that. But what are the steps going to be for you to change that way of thinking? And what are the steps going to be for you or for all of us for us to be able to make this world and this country a better place? At some point, these things have to matter to you. If you have kids, grandkids, etc., you have to think, what is this? What is everything becoming? What is this becoming? Is this something that I really ultimately can't have any confidence or faith in? I don't know about you, but it's hard for me to. So yeah, I just would say give some thoughts to these things. That's all that I have. That's my piece. But we're going to move on to the next song. The next song that I have here is My Answer's No by Slow Fly. A little bit of smooth jazz for us here. So I hope you guys like this one.
answer's no. Yes, I fell in love with you and tried my best to make you love me. And now that you say you want me, oh, my answer's no.
Really, really good. I love that. That was awesome. Nice, smooth. I really like that song. Again, that song was called My Answer's No by Slowfly. Again, I'm gonna put links up to all of these songs, but I thought that was really nice. It was good for the mood. It was a good kind of moment and everything, right? Some of the topics that we're talking about here are a little bit heavy, and they really can get you thinking. So something that just kind of lets you, ease down a little bit, but still think that's very good. We are going to take our last Croco's caller for the day. This is gonna be Justin Scott from Enlightenville, USA. Justin has some really phenomenal things that he oftentimes shares, so I'm excited to let you guys hear from him.
Show you a high-end relationship skill, genuinely high-end. The ability to hear a difficult truth without feeling like the entire relationship just disappeared. Because a lot of relationships die because people hear implications faster than they hear reality. I need space becomes I'm being abandoned. I'm unhappy becomes our relationship was fake. You hurt me becomes I'm a terrible person. Now the conversation is no longer about reality, it's about surviving implications. And most people have no idea they're doing this because human beings constantly mistake tension for contradiction. We hear one difficult truth and immediately start deleting every other truth around it. One painful moment starts swallowing every other good moment around it. A hard conversation suddenly means none of it was real, none of the love counted, and everything is collapsing. But one truth does not automatically erase another truth. That is the skill. Not agreement, not passivity, not denial. Differentiation, the ability to let reality stay layered enough for actual understanding to emerge. Because I love you and I'm frustrated with you can both be true. I need autonomy and I still want intimacy can both be true. I understand your pain and I still need boundaries can both be true. My intentions were loving and my impact still hurts you can both be. I want you to get what I'm saying. That's all. That's all. That alone could save millions of relationships. Millions, genuinely. Because many people think acknowledging impact means confessing evil intent. And many people think explaining intent means denying impact. But now both people start fighting for moral survival instead of understanding. One person is trying to say, I did not mean to harm you. The other person is trying to say, but the harm still happened. Both truths can exist simultaneously. But immature relational systems experience all tension as total threat. Why? Why I'm going to put you on? Because a lot of people were not raised inside emotional differentiation. They were raised inside emotional catastrophe, where disagreement meant punishment, distance meant abandonment, criticism meant humiliation, ambiguity meant instability. So now as adults, unresolved tension feels life-threatening. People seek immediate certainty, immediate reassurance, immediate resolution, immediate collapse into one clean narrative. Are we okay or not? Do you love me or not? Am I enough or not? And I want you to get what's going on, because many people never learn the difference between discomfort and destruction. And for many people, right, every different conversation feels like the floor is dropping out from under them, because this plays out differently in men and women a lot of the time too. I'm gonna show you what's going on. It's not absolute what I'm about to say, but it is common, because many men experience emotional criticism as identity collapse. A woman says, I don't feel connected to you, and he hears, I'm failing. I'm becoming inadequate. I'm losing my place. So he shuts down. He gets defensive, over-explains, detaches, counterattacks, emotionally disappears, not because the original statement was impossible, but because the implication layer became unbearable. Many women experience emotional distance as relational instability. A man says, I need space, and she hears, I'm about to be emotionally replaced. The relationship is deteriorating. I'm about to lose safety. So she pursues harder, over-processes, needs reassurance, escalates emotionally, panics inside distance, right? Inside the silence. And now both people are no longer responding to reality. They're responding to what they think reality implies. That's where a lot of relationships quietly die at. Not always through betrayal, but through implication panic, catastrophic interpretation, emotional totalization. A person says, I need one night alone, and guess what it suddenly becomes? An interrogation. Reassurance extraction. Resentment. Monitoring. Pressure. Now the original truth cannot even exist safely anymore. A woman says, I miss us, and a man hears, you're failing me. I just want you to get what's going on, right? Like how serious this is. And instead of moving toward reconnection, he defends himself from implied inadequacy. And now both people feel unseen. And this is one of the biggest relationship killers on earth. People trying to defend themselves from implications before they've ever encountered reality. Now here's the important part. Sometimes the implications are true. Sometimes distance really does mean withdrawal. Sometimes somebody is leaving you emotionally, right? Slowly. Sometimes dishonesty is happening. But that says more about the other person's honesty capacity than your capacity to stop reality from unfolding. This part really matters because people start to manage implications instead of encountering the truth. They think that if I say the exact right thing, if I become smaller, if I monitor perfectly, if I never upset them, if I stay hyper-attuned, I can stop the relationship from changing. But no amount of fear of being cheated on will stop somebody from cheating on you. I want you to hear me. No amount of hypervigilance will force honesty into somebody who's committed into hiding. No amount of anxiety will ever permanently stop another person from drifting away if they're already leaving internally. I want you to hear what I'm saying. No amount of self-abandonment will ever make somebody suddenly develop the capacity to love you correctly. It'll never happen. A lot of you do not want to develop relationship skills. You just never want to be cheated on again. You never want more time stolen from you. You never want to be blindsided again. You never want to sit there realizing somebody emotionally left months ago before they ever admitted it to you. Now you're trying to build relationship systems that guarantee safety. But no relational skill can give you a world where betrayal comes impossible. I want you to get that. No relationship skill can ever give you a world where betrayal becomes impossible. That is not what maturity gives you. Maturity is not, I have finally learned how to prevent all pain. That is not maturity. Maturity is, I no longer need to destroy myself trying to control what was never fully controllable. Because a lot of anxiety in relationships is just grief. Straight up grief. Grief that love can't be made risk-free. Here's another one. Grief that another person has an interior freedom. Happens all the time. Grief that there's no perfect configuration of words or beauty or usefulness or obedience or emotional labor or performance that could fully remove uncertainty from intimacy. It can never happen. And the terrifying part is that a lot of people already know this deep down, which is why they become so exhausted because they keep trying to use fear to control something that fear was never capable of controlling. So instead, they slowly destroy themselves trying to get certainty, overanalyzing and overperforming and walking on eggshells and needing constant reassurance and monitoring tone shifts and trying to predict abandonment before it arrives. But relationships cannot survive inside permanent emotional surveillance. People suffocate there. They suffocate there. And once you stop trying to use fear as a leash on reality, you can finally start relating to the person in front of you instead of continuously negotiating with catastrophe. Relationships survive honesty better than fear management. That's all I'm trying to tell you. It's one of the hardest lessons in intimacy because many people are not afraid of the implications. They're afraid of helplessness. They're afraid that they're afraid that there may not be one perfect maneuver left. So they try to force certainty through control, reassurance loops, emotional compression, overanalysis, panic. But the high-end skill is never fear implication. It's this. Remaining honest and present without forcing uncertainty to collapse prematurely. That's the whole thing. Because if somebody is staying, you should not have to destroy yourself trying to earn proof every hour. And if somebody is leaving, perfect behavior cannot permanently stop what is already emotionally unfolding internally. That realization changes everything for relationships. Everything. Because now conversations stop being courtroom battles. They become reality exploration. You stop asking who's the villain, who's wrong, who's failing, who's winning. Guess what you get to ask now? What truth is actually being expressed right now? What layer are we reacting to? What is observation and what is implication? Because honestly, one of the deepest forms of intimacy is realizing that somebody can hear a difficult truth about your experience without collapsing your entire humanity around it. That is so rare. It is extremely rare. Especially in a world that rewards certainty and branding and binary thinking and instant judgment and emotional simplification. Modern culture trains people to collapse each other into categories faster than they can encounter each other, right? I just want to tell you what it is. So now, when you meet somebody who can actually hold differentiated truths without panicking, I want you to know how unbelievable it is. It changes your nervous system because for the first time, you finally get to say this. Oh, this conversation doesn't require one of us to disappear in order for reality to exist.
Beautiful, Justin. Honestly, just if like I said, I'm gonna give you guys links at the end of this to all of our Croco Callers. all of them are absolutely phenomenal and have some really interesting points and things to discuss. So I'll show you where you guys can get those videos. These things can give you an idea of these different pages and such that I follow. But Justin really does a great job with explaining and kind of breaking these things down. This happens with me. This happens in my relationship as well. And know that this has happened in other relationships. You know, do you ever get to this moment where you have to, you at least want to express, maybe you don't get the words out, but you at least want to express to your partner, you know, I'm just a human. I'm a human being. You know, I have emotions. I go through various things, and you don't necessarily need to judge me in regards to how something made me feel or let it be an assessment to something larger than it really is. I just need you to appreciate the nuance of me being a human being. And that here is my reason and my explanation for why it is that I feel the way that I do. And oftentimes in moments like that, we also can give insight as to how we believe that these things can change, or we can guide our partner in understanding how to understand us in these moments where maybe there is a miscommunication on an emotional and verbal side. It is a very hard lesson in relationships, and we do not think about it enough in our relationships. Like he said, the idea that these emotions, that these issues within relationships can lead to relationships in and of themselves ending is something that I can really see being a reality. It's a journey, you know. Oftentimes when you think about, even in the past, how we've described things like marriage as an example, you know, the whole expression of till death do us part and whatnot. What that is symbolizing is this idea of you are saying that you want to commit to this person on a lifelong journey. And if you want to commit to somebody on a lifelong journey, you really do need to understand that it's going to be a lot more nuances in understanding them. You need to commit yourself to the idea of being willing to embrace, understand, sacrifice, and do whatever is necessary, obviously in the name of love and without any nefarious action behind it. But you need to figure out what those things are that you need to do, those steps are that you need to take. You need to be accountable to the idea that you may not have the understanding to fully understand your partner, and you need to try to figure out what ways you can understand your partner more and in better ways. These are things that you do when the love is real, when the things that you express and profess in regards to your partner are things that you genuinely feel about them. A person is not something that's meant to be within the control of whatever defense you can put up in regards to how something emotionally makes you feel. That's not how we're supposed to look at our partners in terms of relationships. We're supposed to look at them as somebody who not only do we grow them in our behavior with them, but we also are able to grow in our own behavior through the challenges that we are willing to overcome and take the steps to properly overcome to give them the support that they need. So again, Justin just kind of went through everything for you guys there. I don't really feel like I need to really say much more in regards to that. I just really hope that you guys can kind of lock in on that. You know, if you're struggling in your own relationship, really kind of maybe even playing that part over a couple of times to allow for yourself to be vulnerable and trying to understand what Justin is trying to say there. It'd be good. But all right, you guys, that is our last Croco's caller. Thank you to all of our Croco's callers. You guys are the world. You know, you are the ones that are doing things that expressing things and taking these actions further that I really do feel like is going to end up making us stronger as a people. I am using this platform and Croco Cares Radio Segment to just push your message out there further. Anybody who, you know, has an issue with, you know, me being able to spread it, I'm not upset. I won't be upset or anything like that, but please let me know. Just, you know, leave a comment on socials, or you can reach me as well at crocoscorner@gmail.com. But, you know, just kind of, whether it's on Squad Nero Podcast or Croco's Corners YouTube or whatever, just leave a comment if you need me to change anything. But again, my biggest thing is I think that you guys all have very important messages, and I just wanted to make sure that I could share this with more people in a different way. And then as well as that, thank you to all of our artists. Thank you for allowing for your music to be shared in a way where I can actually incorporate it in a creative experience. Again, I'll make sure to link all of the music that you guys have made onto this video or whatever this is, this podcast, the description and however way it will exist. But yeah, thank you guys. And with that being said, I had a lot of fun doing this. This is I was trying to figure out a way that I can kind of bring a lot more things together, and I felt really good about this first episode of Croco Cares Radio Segment. We will see how things go with this first one. I'm going to try to get it out there as soon as possible and just see if I get any negative responses or any concerning responses. But again, I really did enjoy this. I really want to do this again. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. And, if everything goes well, I'll be able to get more of these out there for you. With that being said, we're going to move right into the last song of the day. Sorry, and like I said, I kind of made a nice little list here. I'm kind of already getting ready for the next show. So, I got to kind of scroll through here a little bit, but I did find it. I am going to be doing here. We're going to be having Another Guy by Margarita. That's going to be our last song here for the day. A little funky, little happy tune for you guys just to end the segment out. So again, Another Guy by Margarita. I hope you guys enjoy.
I've seen it before. Call it what you want, I'm done. Your bag's in front. And you always thought you had it all. Believe me when I say you couldn't be more wrong. But I'm already through with you, tired of this same old view. I think it's time for me to let you know. You
Another Guy by Margarita. That was cool. Nice little vibe. Again, thank you guys for joining me for the very first segment of Croco Cares radio segment. Thank you for everyone who supports Croco's Corner. Thank you.
OCO.
It didn't work the way I wanted it to. Hopefully y'all heard that. It's just a little sound bite that I had. I don't know. It didn't work really well. I had to figure out why that is. I might have to, I don't know. But anyways, thank you guys again. Thank you. If you are interested in anything that is pop culture, comic books, anime, nerd culture in general, please tune in to Squad Nero podcast. Myself, T Smooth, Sage, and Nino, we will be discussing things. We have been doing it. We have just crossed over into 100 episodes. Very, very proud of that milestone. So if you guys are at all interested in anything of that realm, we got a bunch of content out. We have a bunch of content that will be coming out. Please make sure you tune into that. With that being said, I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful rest of the day, weekend, whatever point in time you are hearing this. And yeah, thank you guys. Take care.